My name is Samuela. I'm actually new here, and I think I have to say what God cannot do does not exist. Sometime in January, I had a trauma, and this trauma affected my heart. And I realized that sometimes I would be talking to someone, and my heart would feel like it's stopping and, restarting. So I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor did a test. I have the result here. He said that the left side of my heart was enlarged, but this was only as a response to the trauma. I should just keep drinking water, taking fruits, it's going to get better, which it did get better, at least I thought it did. And throughout that whole period, down to May, everything felt okay until one night when I was sleeping, my heart woke me up. It felt like I had run like a 100-meter race. And when I woke up, it was beating so fast. And the moment I realized I was awake, I couldn't move. I was paralyzed right there on the bed. And at that moment when I realized I was paralyzed, I had panic. And the panic only doubled the heart. So I realized that the room was growing dark. My vision was fading, and I was seeing lights. So in that moment, I thought I was dying. So my prayer was more of, God, please accept my soul if I'm dying and all of that. And then, before you know it, I was able to stand up. My mom, I called this happened at 4:30 a.m., called my mom. She told me I should go back to the hospital for that heart scan again. I did the second heart scan. And the result was still the same. So they had to refer me to a cardiologist. They said, go see a cardiologist. And I went to see the cardiologist. When he saw the result, he said, this can't be right because this result is looking like my heart shifted. So he asked them to do another heart scan immediately. I didn't even pay for that one to show you how serious it was. He said they should do another heart scan immediately. He needs to see the result now. So the attendant took me in. They did another one. And when he saw it, he was mute for like a few minutes. And then he told me, he said, my heart is enlarged. The whole heart is enlarged. And not just enlarged, it is weak and it is failing. And I was in shock. I literally cried from the hospital to my office. I called my mom, I called my friend. My friend is somewhere in the crowd here. I called her and I told her, and my friend said no. My faith was very low. My friend's faith was high, and I really thank God for that. She said no. She said that can't be. She said you have to follow me to church this Thursday. I said, which church? She said, Streams of Joy. I said, I've not been there before. She said, I know, but you're following me. So she came, she drove to the office. She picked me up from the office, and then she brought me here. That was on Thursday. That was on the Thursday the pastor was saying, your Josiah is coming. So he kept saying, your Josiah is coming. And I was in my mind, I was just like, okay, my healing is coming. I know my faith is low, but my healing is coming. We were sitting somewhere there at the back. And after that Thursday, she said, you have to come on the Sunday. And I did. And I wrote it in my first timers card. I wrote about my heart issue in my first timers card. And the doctor asked me to come back for a scan, an echo scan, because they needed to ascertain the extent of the damage so they could know what to place me on. Are they placing me on drugs? Are we going for a heart surgery? So they could just know what to do next. So I went for the echo scan. And when I went for the echo scan, the doctor spent like 30 minutes on my heart. He kept prodding and checking and prodding and checking. And when he was done, in fact, he was heaving and sighing. And I was so worried because, why are you heaving? How bad is it? When am I going to die? God forbid. So, at the end of the day, after prodding and checking, he just took the ultrasound equipment and just dropped it on the table, and he just said, your heart is fine, and he just walked out of the room. And I was in shock, because what do you mean my heart is fine? I have the results showing that my heart is failing. What do you mean it's fine? And then he was hostile. You see, this is key. The doctor was actually hostile towards me, and I did not understand why you're hostile towards me because my heart is fine. I called my friend. My friend, she called me, and I told her, and she said, don't be worried that the doctor is hostile. He's just confused because God has confused him. This is my first time of seeing a doctor confused. He kept looking at the result. He could not explain it. And this result right now, from my heart being enlarged and being failing and weak, the result is showing that my heart is normal in size and in function. Everything is just saying normal in size and function. I don't know what to say.
May God confuse your enemies. God will give you a testimony that you would ask yourself, how will you shout? So if you know you are the next person to testify, let me ask you that question. How will you shout?